Just one other question then, it's roughly related. In terms of direct rule, there has been some suggestion that that might be necessary in the event of a no-deal Brexit. How do you think that would be perceived, and what impact might it have on your operations?
Well, direct rule, ultimately the issues that face us in relation to the lack of political authority at the point when we leave the European Union come to what decisions can be taken. Andrew may want to say something more widely about that. In terms of the community reaction to direct rule, I think a lot would depend, as Stephen has already said in response to the chair, on the precise circumstances that we were dealing with, and it's quite hard to make an assessment in abstract around that.
I think there is potential for that to cause considerable tension. Direct rule, by definition, is in tension with the principles of the Good Friday Agreement, which involve a cross-community government. So to reimpose something which is seen as one-sided would definitely create a reaction. It then depends how it plays out in particular circumstances. So it's something that we're very, very sensitive to. The reason, one reason it isn't in place now is because the parties in going into devolution back in 2007 were very clear that the previous powers to suspend, which happened several times between 1999 and 2002, were not appropriate. They were a crutch that was needed to be removed to ensure that the devolution institutions were as strong as they possibly could be. Now, we've had another set of difficulties, but that principle that there would be continued engagement with devolution is overriding. So that means that direct rule is opposed by with all the representatives of the Nationalist Republican side and would be perceived as a big retrograde step. On the other hand, as Peter has said, there needs to be ministerial decision making in a situation where a very uncertain, fluid, emotional context. That's exactly where ministers need to be in place to take quick, responsive decisions. We can act under the existing legislation in the public interest. That's clear responsibility, but it's a very different thing to be taking responsive decisions to emerging situations. That's where political cover, political choices are absolutely vital.
I'll add something to that.
No, I think that's absolutely right. It's a balance between the impact on communities of direct rule where that's opposed compared to the inability of the civil service to take some key decisions that may well be necessary in a no-deal situation.